Every living organism has a paradigm which is constructed and maintained according to a model, a draft, inner pictures. They are passed on as cells in form of determined DNA sequences. They are passed on as organism, frameworks that direct the expression of DNA sequences. They are passed on as individually made experiences. They are passed on through collectively accepted and transgenerational rules, imaginations, and rituals. I am a professional foreigner. I know all about projections. Christopher Ditchko. I need to assign speech to each part of a building so that it will be able to speak in my terms. Can it be that my life is but living out the dreams of others? Was I born a white sheet on which those around me could imprint their silent desires? Sometime in the future, I will be making beds in the Western Palace. I will pick up a sheet, fold it into a rectangular. I will slip my thumbs under one of its layers, grip with my fingers from the other side, and shake. I am halfway, am where Mother Holly lives. I will line the iron crease along the mattress, and stroke, and bend, and lift the mattress 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8 times, in order to fold its zipfel under all 4 ends. I will stroke again. The sheets will tell me stories when I lift them off, stories of bodies. Sometimes a duvet tries to embrace me, all in a unique setting. The sheets tell me of a body spending a night alone in the Café Prague, of a rose and of a beetle creeping around its heart, of thinking of him the body never speaks of slippery roads and steps, and fear of falling onto the back of the head. The sheets speak silently, without words, of the body that wanders back exhausted. The sheets speak of words being used over and over again, how tired they must get. The sheets tell me bodies are changing and they are scared. It is raining that day. They pass on the cars of my hunt, they say. The sheets ask me, why is the world so small? It felt cozier when it seemed large. And why, the sheets ask, do the crescent moon and waiting belong to each other? That evening I plead some paper and read that gentleness prevails over fear. The sheets tell me of a dream of him the body never speaks of. He writes me a house at the center of the page, flying, writes me spring coming. He writes, spring is coming, writes me 2 trunks bearing pink and white blossoms, converging before they enter the earth. He writes me paradise, writes me that door, writes me it too has been opened. DNA sequences merely deliver a given repertoire comparable to words and grammatical structure. The cell core contains complex pictures but cannot use and read them. Only a cell can, since it contains the necessary mechanism. I'm a woman. I do not cast projections out onto a monument. I embody projections. Louise Bourgeois, you should define biography as a list of facts, not interpretations. Our Chinese teacher says, we do not say I'm dying, you either live or you are dead. What do you say in Chinese? 我要死, I reply. You want to die? James asks, smiling. I will die. 我要死 is right, the teacher replies. Behind a wall covered with glass shards, I'm a Western structure planted into another land. It's hard to break me down. But it can be done. I like learning and I like forgetting. I have learned to like illiteracy. On the bus. On the bike. When I wander. It helps me to hear. Every new experience affects the genes. Nerve cells begin to write new gene sequences and put others to rest. DNA cells create a new inner order, develop new effects. I am I. I cast another's interpretation of an image onto a projection that no longer exists. Through the grid made of 8 panes of glass in the window behind the small desk, he sees a second grid made of bamboo. The verticals reach beyond the window frame out of sight. They are made of pairs of bamboo poles tied together with rope. 2 side by side are rising from the ground. At his height on the first floor, a horizontal bamboo pole is laid to rest on the shorter one of the 2. It stretches about 1.5 meters across to another pair, which gives it support at its opposite end. It in turn supports horizontal poles laid crosswise. Every 2 meters aside, a repetition of the same. A bamboo mat is laid across the horizontal poles, making a walking space for the workers. From above, a pole snuggles alongside the horizontal one and links to 2 new poles driving upwards. Another story up, the same, and so on, until only one pole soars, alone, thinning, slightly curved, leading the gaze into the clouds, white moving fluffs traveling westward across a clear blue autumn sky. Why do they still use bamboo for scaffolding, a visitor from the west asks? To bring the woods into the city? To remind the houses of places their inhabitants' ancestors come from? To give the walls of the houses a rest, shelter them for a while from the gaze? To give the sun an opportunity to play architect and draw blueprints with shadows? To paint the grey walls bright orange? Cycling home, so many people look at her. If she could see with as many eyes as are looking at her. A woman crosses at the junction between Huahailu and Maominglu. She's wearing a smart peach-colored top, a simple tight skirt in the same color, black pumps. She's neat. There's something about her legs. Hannah's eyes follow her as she walks toward the entrance of the metro station. Her back looks tired. The pumps are worn. The hem of her skirt is undone. A sales assistant from one of the cosmetic counters in one of the department stores that line Huahailu. It is 21:50, the end of a shift. How to describe a Saturday morning stroll to the laundry, down Raginglu, then turning into Taikanglu. Smells, noises, movements, scents, sounds, dance. How do you start if not from here? Grapefruits, plums, apples, shishi, pomegranates, and grapes spill from the many fruit stalls. Everywhere is the sound of woks, vegetables shuffling across oiled metal. It is almost 11 o'clock, lunchtime. The shops that sold mats through the summer are changing. Soft mellow green and yellow bamboo slits woven into wavy patterns are replaced by brightly colored, bold flowers printed on sheets and blankets. Stein hands over his laundry, a duvet cover, 3 small towels, a bath towel, a tablecloth, a pillowcase. Nothing matches. Spearmint green, indigo blue, the pink of gums, the yellow of daffodil blossoms, a cacophony of orange, blue, and green on the pillowcase, and an embarrassingly dirty white towel. The laundry lady fills out a coupon. 1, 3, 1, 1, 1, and one more, 1. The white towel he had meant to throw away. Above the woman are hundreds of coat hangers supporting jackets, sheets, towels, blouses, shirts, trousers that live in this neighborhood, that he has seen cycling past, gesticulating, suits pushing past him in front of a cash desk, a shirt gently guiding an old man to the health center. A man sits on the pavement, around him carefully flattened boxes of different sizes and colors, next to him a refuse bag, its mouth wide open. And what do those eyes see? A camera? A man dressed in a suit behind? What else? A black box? A square? A round lens? A circle? A flash? Like lightning? As Hannah turns into Yongjialu, her eyes scan across the shop signs. Part of her registers something legible, and she focuses in on an orange sign. Saladai, she reads. Maneuvering her bicycle through the early morning traffic, she crosses the road to inspect it. The V has been drawn with such exuberance it reads like a D. A taxi passes by, crunching a fallen leaf under its wheels. The loose coins of change in her hand are a nuisance. She keeps out an eye for a beggar, but none is around. At last she drops them into her bag. Once in there, they will not see the light of day until she has an urge to sort out the artist catalogues and the business cards that are given to her wherever she goes. It is almost 11. The moon is waning. Its flat edge looks torn like a tear in a sheet of juanchi, Chinese rice paper. It only takes a little water, Xiao Zihong explained to her, to mend the tear, and there will be no trace left. Just as the traffic light turns green, a beggar spots her. She has already mounted her bike. Ignoring the other cyclists, the beggar pushes his plastic cup under her nose. "Hello?" "Sorry," she answers, and crosses the junction. Bad timing, missed opportunities. The sky is starless. The next morning she sees the moon again. It is behind the bridge at Sushu River. The torn side is now pointing downward at 3 carcasses of Western-style buildings. 8 o'clock in the morning in Shanghai, midnight in England. It is strange to think this moon is also visible in England. They say the earth is round, England is at the opposite side. She'd have to think about that. On the way home, she passes an old man walking down the road rather than the empty pavement. A black square of cloth is pinned to his sleeve. He walks so tentatively, carefully testing the ground with his toes before putting his foot down. There is another fragility than that of the body. His gaze is straight ahead, focused, an island in the traffic.